Just when I thought the HOA saga had reached its peak, I received an email that made my blood run cold. The HOA had done something truly audacious. They had illegally sold 2,500 acres of my farmland to an outside developer. Apparently, in their minds, they could overstep the law without consequences, ignoring the fact that every single deed, boundary, and title on my property was meticulously documented and federally recorded. I drove out to the edge of my property to assess the situation. Large for sale signs had been planted, and survey stakes marked the boundaries as if the HOA had suddenly gained authority over my land. Workers were surveying the area, preparing for construction, blissfully unaware that they were trespassing on private, federally documented property. The first step was to remain calm. Any rash move could play into their hands legally, even if they were already violating the law. I gathered all the paperwork: deeds, tax records, satellite images, and legal filings proving my ownership. Then I made a call, not to the HOA, not to the local sheriff, but to a legal team I had on standby for situations exactly like this. By the time the HOA representatives realized I was aware of their actions, I had already filed an injunction and prepared a countermove that would not only nullify their sale but also allow me to turn the tables completely. The HOA, thinking they could intimidate a single family with paperwork and fines, had never considered the possibility that their victim had the resources, knowledge, and legal authority to retaliate. The day of the confrontation arrived. I personally met the HOA board at the property line, holding copies of all my documentation. Their smug expressions faltered when they saw my folders: deeds, title records, satellite surveys, all meticulously organized and legally binding. I calmly explained that not only had they committed fraud by selling my land, but any attempt to develop it would be a direct violation of federal and state law. Then came the part they didn't see coming. With legal counsel on standby, I executed a maneuver they never anticipated. I legally sold all the homes they owned within the neighborhood. Every single property, every lot, and every piece of common land was transferred to new owners, fully documented and enforceable by law. Within hours, the HOA went from a board of self-important bullies to powerless residents scrambling to reclaim control. Word spread quickly. Neighbors who had once feared the HOA now called to thank me, confessing they had been quietly suffering under years of petty rules, fines, and intimidation. Karen, predictably, was livid, but her threats were empty. Her authority had evaporated the moment she overstepped boundaries she had no right to cross. The developers who had purchased my land returned their deposits, citing unforeseen legal complications, and the HOA's illegal sale was nullified completely. Not a single acre of my farmland had been lost. Instead, the HOA found themselves in a position they had never faced before: powerless, outmaneuvered, and publicly humiliated. By nightfall, I stood at the edge of my fields, looking over the 2,500 acres of untouched farmland, golden in the sunset. My wife joined me, her calm presence a steady reminder that this was more than just land. It was our home, our life, and our victory. "I think they finally understand," she said softly. "Some people aren't just homeowners. Some of us enforce the law, and we enforce it properly." I nodded. They tried to play a game with the wrong people, and now, they've lost everything they thought they controlled. The neighborhood slowly adjusted to the new reality. The HOA, stripped of their authority and credibility, faded into the background. Karen eventually moved away, no doubt hoping to avoid the embarrassment of living in a community where everyone knew her failures. As for my farmland, my mansion, and my lake cabin, they were untouched, fully under my control, and completely secure. The lesson was clear to everyone. You cannot bully, cheat, or threaten someone who is prepared, informed, and unafraid to fight back. Authority must be earned, power must be respected, and overstepping the law comes with consequences far beyond petty fines and empty threats. That night, standing on my porch, my wife and I raised a glass to our victory, not just for defending our property, but for proving that even the most audacious attempts at control can be dismantled when met with knowledge, strategy, and resolve. The HOA had learned the hard way that some homeowners are untouchable, and that lesson would echo in the neighborhood for years to come.